If you somehow don't know, Universal Studios are going to be building a brand new theme park here in the UK, specifically in Kempston, Bedford, which is where I'm standing right now, with the exact site of the theme park, resort, and even all the retail dining complex, even the car parks, all situated behind this fence along these few fields. As much as it looks really small from here, I can guarantee you it's not. And after planning permission was approved and they could start building from the middle of January, I have been trying my best to keep you updated on everything going on at the site. Being someone who's quite local to here, the fact this is going to be my home park is absolutely mental. But I've come back down for a mid-February update, and there is actually quite a lot of work going on, because as much as we've seen fences go up in the main field that we've always called the field, there is now construction work starting to take place on there, as there is all across the site. You can literally see people working right now. But I'm going to go fully in depth about this, and I'm going to be doing that throughout this entire project over the next 5 years. So be sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on this brand new theme park project coming to the UK. First up, let's go to our usual spot. I'm at the usual spot. You know what that means. Time to work thou plank. Ooh. Oh no. You know what they say, third time luck? I would never fool, I am all good. I've definitely just jinxed that for next time. Our lovely little pathway is still open. It goes right by the side of the entire park, or where it's supposed to be. And until Universal do shut this off, I do think this is probably the best viewpoint we're gonna get from ground level of the field. And I can't tell if that's the farm that's next door, or if that's Universal, but there is a huge digger there, and I can already hear like beeping and like the occasional construction noise. Let's go and see what's happening down here. And here we go, of course, staying behind the half-broken private property sign, because we don't want to trespass. Look at all these fences that have gone up. Wow. There's that big digger. It is on the site, but I don't know if that is Universal's or not. I also don't know if all you can hear is just wind noise currently. Oh, there's movement. So let's start from the left-hand side. As you can see, we've got that digger there, but we're going to ignore that because last time there was a digger on the edge of the field, I'm pretty certain it was just the farmers. What is that noise? Can you hear that? So yeah, we'll ignore that for now. They've put up loads of fencing along the field itself, from sort of where that public footpath used to be surrounding it, all the way up to around that little mound there before it sort of turns round or just stops. I think that just stops. How strange. Then obviously I'm not going to get too close because I'm not going to go running after them. Let's go. But there are tons of workers there with what seems like a tractor and some farming equipment on the back that seems to be going over the ground, which is interesting. And over off in the distance where we saw that very strangely shaped fenced off area, there's loads of dirt mounds that have appeared. And now you can see a dumper truck going along. I think there's another dumper truck there, and I think that's 2 diggers on the right and 1 on the left. I'm not overly sure, but I think there could be 3 diggers working on this site. I think it might be 2. I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me. I didn't get much sleep last night. But I think they might just be doing a similar thing to what they did on that other section of the field, because you can see the dumper in the background just dumping loads of dirt off. And these diggers are going for it once again, but there's so many more dump trucks. I've just seen 3. God. They're going at it, and the train horde's going off. They love the fact there's 3 dumper trucks. And even off in the distance there, where we saw like some pallets or something being brought in, there's a smaller digger, and then loads of like vans and stuff over there. This is a very confusing site today. All these fences, I remember last time just seeing like one singular line of them from this angle, and now I can see like 4 different lines. I'm so confused. But yeah, it appears they're doing a lot of groundwork today then. That seems to be the main thing at the moment. Obviously, I did think of coming back maybe a bit earlier than this, but the weather was awful, as I'm sure many of you in the UK also found out for yourselves. So yeah, I was waiting for it to get a little bit sunnier. It's not exactly sunny, but it is a lot nicer today. And I'm glad I chose today to come. There's a lot of work going on. It's just very interesting to see the scale of it all already. Not that we're going to stand here, but we're going to stand back there, hopefully. Can you imagine when this is fully finished and there's huge roller coasters just towering up above the trees and city walk and everything? This view is going to be incredible, and I'm really hoping I can come back to maybe even this location or over there and find the exact pinpoint. I have marked down where I am right now and where the public footpath started, everything like that. And I really want to revisit in 5 years' time when the park opens and just look at it all again, because it'll be mental. But yeah, genuinely a lot of work going on, and we can see it all from over here. A really good view, this. There's also something off in the distance over there. I'm not too sure what that is. Can you see that? That's another machine. What's going on? How many machines have they got? Genuinely think that this update is going to be the last one before it all ramps up, because as much as I do want to come back here as much as possible, right now groundwork is taking place, which is a big step. I'm just super excited to actually come here and see all these buildings going up and eventually all the roller coasters and be able to update you on all of that. I'm genuinely very intrigued about that sort of fencing situation, because I don't know what they're planning on doing with that fencing setup. Like, is it a map? I know I tried to map it out before, but when we get to the drone footage later on, I will try and map it out again, hopefully a little bit better this time. But with that being said, let's head towards Manor Road and see if we can see anything over there and from the air as well. Not again. Why you join me here at Manor Road? Like I said, well, I'm not on the road because it is extremely noisy, because just constantly there are cars going back and forth, which is what a road's used for, so we'll allow it. But like, I've seen these sorts of trucks, like that's a bin lorry, so it don't really matter, but I've seen these lorries around that size and like vans and stuff delivering things from the main lake zone where all those site offices are, all the way down Manor Road to that brand new opening that they made in the last few months. Obviously just getting parts for machinery, or the machinery themselves, materials, anything like that, over to the core zone, because this is where most of the action's happening now. I'll put in some B-roll, but you'll see now that the site office area on the lake zone was originally a cesspit of action, and now it's literally just vacant. Like, there's 1 or 2 people in there, and that's about it, because all of it has been transferred up Manor Road to that new entry point where they've started building, I guess, another site office entrance, because literally as I'm filming this, all the workers just finished what they were doing and are heading towards that site office area over there. But yeah, they were all sort of crouched down in the ground over in the distance, which of course, if you don't remember, in the last update they were digging huge portions of land. And when I say huge portions, I don't mean that they were digging like an entire crater out of the ground. I also mean the fact that they were just digging out a large surface area, but not a very thick amount of soil, to test the ground for either metal detecting or whether there's anything else under there. Archaeological digs, all that stuff. But even when they were digging up over there, there was only one digger doing that. So maybe they just want to crack on with this sort of groundwork, get it out the way ASAP by using multiple of them. But yeah, I've actually managed to get further down and we can actually see those diggers right there. I can only, oh, there you go. There's the third one off on the right, just underneath. Look at the turbine. Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because they just seem to be making dirt mounds in certain corners of that section of fencing. And it's pretty interesting, as you can see. Wow. Look at that. Technically speaking, last episode they broke ground on the core zone in general, but this time, would one be inclined to say they have now broken ground on the field TM? Because gone are the days of walking the public footpath over this section of the field, which is where that public footpath was. And they have started breaking ground on it. So technically speaking, the field is now the construction site, I guess. So considering this is now the closest we can possibly get to this side of the field, and we've already checked over on that side, I think you know what time it is. It is time to take off into the air, like so. So now we are flying high above the site and the sky. Let's take a look at this construction, shall we? Starting off over where the A421 slip road, where the flyover will be coming off that main road into the park. That field I thought I'd fly over and just take a look, and nothing seems to be really happening there. The borehole testing took place last episode, and since then, just nothing. But then again, the road infrastructure will be funded by the government, so God knows when that'll be built. Another place that I have already said has nothing going on in it, the lake zone over at the back, and yeah, there's just site offices and a few people walk around, a few cars, that's about it. But what we do want to see is that main field where they have been digging up all that ground with those 3 diggers, and as you can see from above, it looks even more chaotic than it did from the side. All this work is clearly happening within that fenced off area that was created last time, and much like they did in the other field, they seem to be digging out big rectangles of that surface and just dumping it in other places, and you can see various points where they've done that and various points that are quite clear. Loads and loads of mud tracks. Genuinely, the entire field might have mud tracks on it in a few days. But yeah, they've just been purely working on digging up that ground in that one fenced off section, which which again is so weird that they're just doing it there and nowhere else. And there must be a reason for it, so I'd be very intrigued to see what happens going forward. In this footage alone, I could see those 3 diggers. You've also got around 6 dump trucks and even a bulldozer, which I believe is the thing that I was wondering why they have so much machinery. I think it was that. And yeah, you can clearly see that this is exactly where all the work is going to start happening before anything else happens on the core zone where that theme park is going to be. Again, on the original plans, that map of the fencing that I made last time really badly doesn't line up with anything other than maybe the retail dining entertainment complex. Yeah, it's all very intriguing. As is, in the distance, you can vaguely see that line of construction fencing that they've put up over near the sort of public footpath entrance down that way. And yeah, again, what are they doing with these fences? It makes no sense. If you can make anything of this, please tell me in the comments. But so far as updates go, we can see a lot of groundwork taking place and those initial sort of testing of the ground. And it appears the weather has not done them much good because it just looks like an absolute swamp in there. But that is what is going on at the site of Universal Studios UK in the middle of February. If you want to see more updates going forward, be sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be there so much over the next 5 years, covering the entire project as it is built. And also, be sure to go and check out my Planet Coaster 2 recreation of what this park is going to look like, because it's going to be an amazing theme park, especially for the UK. Thank you very much for watching.